maybe an hour and a half of messing around, I'm finally up and running with my first game development stream. Um, you're gonna have to bear with me as I learn this whole process. Hopefully, this is something that I can learn in like a day, because I want to do this every day. I've been doing it every day anyway, so I figured I would make a stream and everyone could follow along because it's no fun doing something really cool and not having anyone to talk to about it or share with them. Um, so that's what this is. Let me just give a little introduction of what we'll be doing for the next really long time. So I'm making a game. I've been making a game for about a year now, and this is like very low key, an hour here and an hour there. I'm sure this is like the schedule that a lot of people out there would like to be able to do and make a game, and they might be turned off because they realize, hey, I'm never gonna make a game. There's millions of people um, that want to make games, and it never happens. Mostly because you see that there are games that cost millions of dollars, um, and take teams of hundreds. And the games you play, you're probably not going to be able to make. Um, but that doesn't mean that you can't make a super addictive, and fun game. So the before I get into what game we're making, I'll let you know how I came about this idea. I was playing Flippy Knife, and I got so mad that I wanted to buy it, and I realized that it's a subscription model. And I was so upset that they wanted to charge me, I think it was weekly, to be able to play this game. And I don't know why I wanted to play it. It was, I just moved my finger up. I have a 2-year old, and he can move his finger up and flip the knife, and he likes it. Um, my dad likes to flip the knife. It's so stupid. There's no point to it. Um, and I realized that this game did not take a lot to make, and so many people probably liked the game that it pushed them over the edge to think, hey, I could make like $2 a week from every single person. And the addiction of games is powerful. And um, I don't know how it works. I know that it works on me. I'm right now very much addicted to Escape from Tarkov. That is the other 50% of the time I'll be streaming will be me playing Tarkov, because you can't just work and not play. I went through a phase where I would work all the time on making my games. I have a long commute. I commute to work. It's like 3 hours each way. And I've been doing that for over 10 years. And people ask me how I do it. And that's like my learning time. That's like the time I get to do what I want. And I look forward to that time. I look forward to sitting there with no one bothering me, with my headphones on, making something. Whether it's a website, whether it's a 2 month project, a 6 month project, all the time kind of like melts together, and it's just my on the way to work, on the way to home from work kind of time. A game can be made in your spare time, and there's a lot that you need to learn about yourself and how you work, and like how do I sit down, open my laptop, and start making a game within like a couple minutes, and then being able to stop an hour later for dinner, and then being able to pick up again and start and context switch really fast. You get better at it, but please understand that it's definitely possible in a new game, and we're going to make one together. And it's going to be really fun. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you can follow along, and a lot of things you're not going to understand. But I love showing people stuff and teaching. So if it takes double the time to make this game because I'm explaining it to everybody, um, and I have a lot of questions to answer, and I can make other makers out of everyone else, that would be that's what I'm here for. Um, I think that is more exciting to me than actually making $1 off of selling my game, or ad revenue. Of course, they say that now, um, but getting $1 every once in a while from lots and lots of people is super appealing to me. Um, yeah. So I was playing this Flippy Knife game, and I realized that I can make a game that is simple, um, and that people just want to move their finger around. Um, and of course, it evolved from there. And my idea now is quite a bit more involved, but I love it. And since it's only me, I don't have a bunch of people that I have to convince every time I make a change in my game. So being a solo dev does have its advantages. um, I could spend an entire month trying to perfect some tiny piece of the, some tiny graphic asset, and no one's going to yell at me, because it's just my hobby, it's only time lost, and every minute I spend is either none of it's lost. Every minute I spend, I'm learning something. I have to learn how to model 3D assets, and I have to learn how to create textures, or find them and put them together into new textures. Sound design. There's so much involved that is fun and useful, and you just get better at it. And not only do you get better at each of these things, you get better at getting better at random things. So if even that's something I can do, I could show you how certain things work together. Because learning how to use Substance Designer is one whole thing, and learning how to use WWise, the Audio Kinetic, is another whole thing. Learning how to use Blender to make your assets is another thing. And even if you learn those, how do you put them together? What is the right flow? What is the right process that you follow, um, to move between all of these different things that you need to do to make it come together into, um, a work of art, that's what I think games are. It's art that people get addicted to. Um, so anyway, let me get back into, um, the game. So I started making this game, and one of the big things that I like to follow, because when you have 1 hour increments to work, which is the way that I like to think of things, um, my 1 hour increments are best used by thinking of things that I can finish in 1 hour. So if I break the game into thousands and thousands of things that I can do in an hour, it becomes manageable, even though it seems daunting. It's still manageable, rather than being like, I want to make a game. It's an MMO. There's stuff. Like, where do you start? Um, I don't know. But for this, I knew that I wanted to fling something. And in my head, it was a candy, a piece of candy. I thought I'd be in a candy store and you'd have to sort candy. Um, and what I did was I didn't make candy. I just made a little ball mesh, and I tried to fling it around. And I spent maybe a week playing with that. And I realized what I had, was just a ball that flings through the air. And it was so simple, and it felt so nice. Then I'm like, I'm gonna make a basketball game, because this basketball game is going to be more, um, you know, people like basketball. But I did some market research, and by market research I mean going into the App Store and looking at what basketball games there were out there. And there were so not a lot of good ones. They were garbage games that didn't feel nice. Yeah, and also I had a couple things in my mind. I wanted the net physics to be really nice, because I couldn't find any games that had a nice net. Most of the basketball games had, like metal, just a metal ring without the net, or like, something similar, but no actual cloth net. And I found out later, like a few weeks later, when I tried to implement this, and we can go over that too. Now I know why there were no cloth nets, because the collision between the ball and the net was extremely hard to figure out. Um, but it's really fun to solve problems, and that's what I like to do. And there's nobody yelling at me that I took a month to figure out how to make my net to look nice. So I solved it. And and that slowly and slowly I started, making it more, usable. After my ball would fling around, I made a texture that looks like a ball. Then I made a little cabinet in Blender. Let's bring that up. I can show you. Let's see. Geometry cabinets. And recently, like maybe 2 weeks ago, I started adding a second cabinet. And this got into refactoring and how much it is good to have knowledge of how to refactor. Because my one cabinet was not designed thinking that there would be more than one cabinet, even though I knew there'd be more than one. So I had to figure out a way to make a second cabinet and abstract out all of the pieces from my what makes a cabinet in common, or is cabinet the base thing? Like, what if I had a skee ball machine? Is that still a cabinet? How would it work? And yeah, so here is my cabinet I made. This is like the first time I realized that this is gonna turn out to be pretty cool. So where is my cabinet? Let's drag this up here. So my first cabinet I made, and I make everything in Blender, and I'm not going to skip over anything. Any new assets I'm adding, anything I add to this game, I'm going to do it with you guys, because why not? It's kind of like rubber ducking, but like 100% rubber ducking all the time. If you don't know what rubber ducking is, that's this magical thing that happens when you can't solve a problem. So you go to talk to someone about it, and as you talk, you kind of like figure out the problem and solve it, and the guy or girl that you're talking to never even gets a chance to answer back. So this is like the ultimate rubber ducking, I think. Let's see. So here is the base. It's so stupid. I just want to show you the whole thing together. I made it in pieces, right? We have a base cabinet, all these little textures I made in Substance Painter. That was super fun learning how to use that. And let's see, I have the back of a cabinet. Oh, wait, look at this. It's the whole cabinet. So here we go. This is the first cabinet I made. And how did I make this? Where did I come up with it? I basically just went in, I went to Google, and I just Google images, and Google Images, looked up basketball cabinets, and I picked one out that looked cool, and I just made it piece by piece. Didn't care anything about texture. I just built each block one by one. I never added this little dispenser ticket slot yet. So I'm still working. I got to texture this out. This is just a placeholder. But yeah, this is the first cabinet, and I'm gonna have to work on setting the stream up a little more, because I tried to do it on my laptop, and it's just not powerful enough to stream. So what I had to do instead was use my desktop, which doesn't have a touch screen, and the touch screen is the only input I have to fling the ball. So if we try to play this, oh, here's a sneak peek at the next one. You can see I can't really do anything. If we look at what it would look like in phone layout, I don't know why it looks like this, but I can't fling anything because I didn't implement a mouse feature yet, and my finger doesn't do anything. So I'm gonna have to add that. Maybe that'll be a fun thing to do. Maybe I'll see how can I add that functionality, so I could start testing and making this game on my desktop, which would be cool because my desktop is a lot more badass than my laptop. Although I have a nice laptop, it sucks sitting on a dining room table or on a train looking at a tiny screen. Like me looking at this cabinet on this monitor here, I don't do that a lot. So when I get to see it, it's kind of nice. And since you saw my other cabinet, you can see I added another cabinet. Also, I didn't really like how I ended up doing this. The reason I separated it into all of these parts is because I couldn't figure out how to get the ball to make a different sound when it hits different part of the mesh. This is another problem I ran into. When the ball hits the fence, I need it to make a fancy type of noise. Um, and when it hits the ramp, it has to make a rubbery type of noise. I don't know. And the rim, obviously, all these different things. So I just couldn't figure out how to, short of putting like um, collision volumes on every single piece and then like testing that. I mean, it just didn't seem right. So I'm like, hey, I know it'll be different parts, and I could build my cabinets out of these parts. And now, so every cabinet's going to have a cabinet, a barrier, um, a backboard. Maybe you can already see where I'm going with this, but not every cabinet has a barrier. Um, and when I started making a second cabinet, it was such a pain in the ass to like try to combine all the pieces together and break them apart. So I ended up with my second cabinet being one big piece. So we can see this cabinet I just made a couple weeks ago. Um, just I didn't really think too hard when I just picked out another one that looked different enough, and I realized this one's cool because when I started playing with it, I realized that the back is a little farther and it's harder to do. And something else I want to add is mods, so I can modify a cabinet. Um, and the mod will be just like generic. Maybe the backboard will move back and forth. The net could spin in circles or move left to right. Maybe you have a mod where there's multiple nets. I don't know. But I think to add variety to the game, it'd be cool to add mods. Maybe we can unlock them, add that sense of progression, which got me thinking, how am I going to present all of these? Are you going to start with all your cabinets? Well, these are all these questions that you have that you as the designer can like think of and implement and play with. And um, so one model would be to just let the game be free and let everyone play one cabinet. And if they like it, they'll probably pay $1 for the rest of the cabinets. I don't know. Maybe all the cabinets are free, but you unlock them by getting achievements, um, stuff like that. So I'm still toying with different ideas, um, but that was my thinking. And then I thought I want a nice way to display all of these. So then my game got a little more complicated when I realized I don't want to just have like a UI with this flashing by the screen and I get to pick. I want it to be in an arcade. Maybe you can design your arcade, fill it up with cabinets. Um, I want a ticket counter where tickets come out of here. Tickets come out. And when the tickets come out, you take them to the counter and you trade them for garbage. I don't know, things that you trade at arcades, pencil tips, erasers, little crawly things that like stick when you throw them at the wall and they flop down. Um, you know, arcade garbage. There's no real point to it, but I don't think that there needs to be a point. Um, Maybe if I can just throw in surprise garbage every week, design something that's really stupid, make some that are rare, maybe make a display case so you can like show off your garbage that you get. I think that's all you need. I don't think you need more than that. Um, Plus, I remember being a kid wanting all that garbage. I don't know why. Even my kids, when they get that, they want it. You go to the dentist, you get a toy, then you throw it out. But that excitement's still there, and I think that it could be there for the game. So I tried to make an arcade. So let me open up the arcade level. I have three. No, hoops is my main level. This is where all of your basketball throwing happens. The arcade is where all your stuff lives. So I figured you load in the game like this. I won't be able to click even on this, but I promise we'll get that working. We'll get that working together. It'll be fun. Let me see if I can play this. So now we're inside the store or inside the arcade. And let's make it, I gotta set up my environment so it knows that this is a phone here. But this is basically what I got here. We got tickets. We have two forms of currency, tickets and coins of some sort. One of them is like just a different way to earn. Can I click? Oh, it's not gonna let me. Damn it. Oh, it's not gonna let me click. And it's so tempting for me to just touch the screen, but I know it's not gonna work. So yeah, we'll get that working. Let me show you the model of the room, because what is in the room is my ticket counter. So I made the ticket counter. Definitely an early, just size it up and see. I don't know how the glass is looking. I don't know any of that. But we're going to tweak it and make it perfect. That is a sample object in there, so I could see what it's like to put things in. I tried to make a nice little interface to it. So every cabinet, right here, there's two. Each one has some slots, and all I have to do is set each slot to some thing, something that I want to put in there. I didn't design anything yet. Oops. Let me undo that. But yeah, we'll take a look at the blueprints and see how I did. Also, I didn't mention that this is all in blueprints. So it's going to be real easy to follow, very logical, and you can apply this. I hope you just don't want to go out and make my game, because this is my game. If you want to play around and make your own assets and do this or apply it to your own stuff, I'm sure you can take something from every single piece that I'm going to be showing you and incorporate it into your game. Yeah, and I have to think about it. Like, I think it'll be fun if there's a way that you guys could like join in and like do stuff with me. But we'll see how this goes. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing or how many people. I don't know. Maybe there's no market for this. Maybe there's like 2 people ever that are going to see this. But like I said, I'm going to be doing it. So join me. What else about the game that I can tell you real quick? Because I'm not going to get into anything technical. This is just an overview of what we're going to be making. Let me talk a bit about Ball Lord. So the idea that I want this game is going to be humorous somehow. I like the idea of making it over the top, like a kind of doesn't really make sense. None of you know my humor, and I don't expect you to, and I don't expect even 5% of the people that play this game to understand the humor. But I'm making this game for me, and I want it to be ridiculous. And so yeah, you can't tell me otherwise. It's going to be stupid. And in order to get my brain kind of calm down with the feature creep, which it gets me so hard. Like, it gets me not so hard. That sounded really bad. it gets me so hard in the gut, is what I was trying to say. All the things I want to add to the game, and I got to just keep thinking, like, what would my wife say if I told her that I'm adding something else to the game? And she's like, Jesus Christ, just finish it. But yeah, I have a lot of ideas that revolve around an RPG element where you're on open world, and the way that you attack people is by getting hoops. They all have hoops. The monsters all have some sort of hoop, and that's how you attack. You're like a ridiculous basketball athlete, or a non-athlete, maybe someone who is just like really not athletic that just thinks he's good at basketball. Like, this is the feeling I'm getting from this game. But also, you're in hell, and maybe this arcade is a death arcade, and maybe the ticket guy behind the counter, is a really scary, weird demon, who is really good at basketball, and he taunts you every day, and you have to earn your tickets. You have to keep earning those tickets. You got to earn tickets. Earn the goddamn tickets. You gotta fucking earn tickets, and you gotta just like get better and better, because he's counting on you. That demon, he's counting on you. He's counting on you to get baskets, because there's something coming and you don't know it. There's something looming over the world, or the underworld, or wherever you are. and he needs a good arcade cabinet basketball player. And maybe this is just the try. Maybe this is just the training this game. And if it goes well, it can expand into the RPG where the mechanics are already worked out, and maybe then he can actually use his skills as a basketball thrower to save the world. I don't know, but there's going to be a ridiculous backstory. Oh, and here is the title screen, the final thing that I've actually made. Let's not save. I'm not saving. There we go. So the title screen, just an open landscape. I could probably show you this. Let's see what happens when I play it. So, I have to reset the. So basically, majestic music playing, flying over a landscape, looking at this. There's a big ball in the background that's like the planet spinning. It's like a planet ball. It's like a planet ball. I gotta definitely fix this the cinematic sequence I have going here. It's just basically got this is the idea. This is the idea. This isn't like the final product, but it floats, it floats, it floats. And then when you hit play, the ball flies around and you're in there. So I just want enough that I could actually like see the flow of the game. You know, start it, I'm in the title screen, press start, I'm in the arcade. When I touch my finger on one of these, it should fly me gently over to the cabinet. I could pick my mods if they're available or anything. Like I want this to be a harder one, right? I want the backboard to move, and then when I hit play, I'm in the hoops game where I can play game. I can play my hoops. I also have a bunch of different modes, like time mode and like an arcade mode, which is like the main mode. I'll show you all this stuff and how I did it. We'll be walking through all of it. But before I close this out, because it's getting kind of long, I just want to talk a little bit about all the things that we're going to be doing. There's a lot that I need to get done, and I want to do all of it live. I want to do all of the art. I don't outsource anything. So it takes longer, but I get that sweet, sweet joy of figuring out how to do this stuff. So I'm going to be sharing that with you guys. We're going to be adding what I'm doing now is adding really nice sounds, or not nice sounds. I don't know if they're going to be nice. I hope they'll be nice, but I need to add a variety of sounds. I need to find those sounds because I mean, I don't outsource, but also I don't have a sound studio. So I'm going to be looking at Audio Jungle, Zap Splat, a couple places I found that have good sounds for cheap. I need a ball passing. I want a sound when I grab the ball. It needs to make like a basketball rubbery pass sound. I also want to implement a new type of ball, like a meteor ball. I made a really sweet texture. I just want to show you guys because I envision having the ball like a fireball that when maybe I make a bunch of shots in a row, I'm on fire and the ball lights up. And when I throw it, it goes faster and farther, maybe less gravity. So it just shoots out straight, making an easier shot. But I need that fiery sound. I need like a fire sound. Let's go back out to the ball itself. I'm really proud of my ball. I made a nice ball. I did make a nice ball. Where's my ball? Here we go. So here is the ball itself. God. I'm not an artist or 3D artist or anything, so I have to learn everything by watching videos and doing everything, but I like this ball. So what I also wanted was a nice particle effect, and I don't know anything about Niagara, so we're going to be going over Niagara too, because I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of things I want to do, and I want to show you guys how I go about doing it. Hopefully, do not, hopefully make you guys realize, this is how you go about doing it. This is a way to do it. So look at this. Look at this material. So I made this material. Can we view it? Is it gonna let me view it? Let's see. this looks like crazy. It's I mean I still have to tweak it a little bit. Um, and I found this online. You know, I found the idea of how this is done online. And tweaked it. Like I made my own textures. I tweaked all the parameters. Um, you know, and that's pretty much what it is. Like when you're making a game, very little of what you're doing, you're like reinventing the wheel. You're finding like your job is to find things um that are like base elements that you can tweak and combine to make a new piece of art. Just like, you know, you usually don't see a painting which is completely different than anything else. They're all like taking pieces. It's all same thing with music, paintings. They're all like made up of tinier pieces that have been creatively modified. So don't be afraid to take an idea as inspiration and try to incorporate it into your project. I mean, that's the essence of being an artist, really. Um, so here is a base material, um, and let's see. Can we? Where is my? So here's my system. I made a. Oh, you know what? I did not check in my latest code from my laptop. So let's see. What is the latest um, particle I do have? I have a whole bunch of new ones. I can get them tomorrow up on here so we can take a look. Let's see this system. Oh, look at that. I am very much in the beginning of this. So yeah, I guess I forgot how much I did in the past like 2 days, and did not commit into Git. So we'll take a look at my Git system, how I commit everything. I don't know if anyone out there uses Git. I'm mostly a web developer by trade lately. So not having Git is like insane to me. How do I use Git with all of these huge assets? So that's something I could talk about too, how I managed to do it. Um, yeah. So I guess that's pretty much all I got time for now. It's time to go up and watch some Netflix. Um, Maybe play some Tarkov later. Um, if you like Tarkov too, please join my stream where I suck at Tarkov and everyone can watch how bad I am. Just because I make games and I like games has nothing to do with how good I am at games. I like to think that I would be better than anyone. I would be like so good if I just was able to have time to play games, which I don't anymore. And it makes me sad. But I can make time. What, like an hour a day? How can I not? Like, there's no excuse. Like, if I want to play, and honestly, no game has ever made me want to work so hard to find an hour in my day to play than Tarkov. It's been like a long time. I mean, years and years since I've been into a game as much as Tarkov. And like, yeah. So if you don't know that game, Escape from Tarkov, please check it out. It's really hard to explain. There are podcasts out there that spend hours talking with like 100 episodes of just talking about this game. And it's not even out yet. It's not even out yet. It's still in beta. Anyway, it's a good game. Um, Even if you suck. Um, I think so. Anyway, it was nice to finally get this started. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow and we'll get started. Cool. How do I stop?